In the world of sales, why is setting expectations so important, and how does it help you close more deals? I'm Sylvan Bell. I'm coming to you live from San Diego, California on a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about you. And so here's what will happen is I will ride with a salesperson and they will meet with a buyer and they will talk to them about their product, service, widget, or gizmo. And for whatever reason, they set up a time to have another meeting. They set up a time to have a phone call, but like there's no real agenda set. There's no real outcome set to what's going to happen in the next step. And so since there's some vagary and since there's not a lot of information there, what will happen is the buyer is on one path and the salesperson is on another, and they combine and they don't make it a super awesome force. What happens is there's some confusion. So let's just say that I meet with you and I sell bottles of water, okay? And because that's what I've got in front of me. I got bottles of water and sunglasses and a hat, but that's way cooler. And so you say, hey Scott, great, why don't we meet again? And I say, okay, fantastic. On this next meeting, what we're going to talk about is deliverability dates. We're going to talk about the purchase order, and we're going to talk about what's going to happen. So if I show up to that meeting, right, the gibberish that I just gave you, at least that buyer knows why are we setting another meeting? Why are we coming out? And so I'm riding with a sales guy recently, and he sets up another meeting, and the buyer doesn't really understand that the guy's thinking he's coming out to do paperwork on the product that he's selling and the thing that he's using. The guy just thinks that they're setting up another appointment. Like there's no clear-cut path. Now, understand this is buyer to consumer in home sales is what I did. If it was, business to business, it'd be a different story. They'd be like, why are you coming back? And so you have to set a clear agenda with the people that you're working with so that they understand what they're getting into, they understand what they're buying, they understand what that next step appointment is. And sometimes if you just try to sneak that appointment in, you're like, I'm just going to sneak an appointment in with you and hopefully we can make this thing work. Like that buyer may be irritated, like, why did you show up? You drove an hour across town to come meet with me and I don't really understand or know why you're here. Why are you here? What are you doing here? Why is... Right? So to take that vagary away from the buyer, here's what we're going to do in the next meeting. Here's what we're going to talk about. And I know that salespeople, it scares them. Like if I tell them that this is what the next step is, they're going to be mad at me. Like, okay, if you think they're going to be mad at you, do you really think they're going to do business with you? I mean, like something, you got to think through this process here. So outcomes and next steps. Outcomes and next steps. That's the name of this video. You should have that for your sales process, and you should understand what you're going to do at the next meeting. Like sometimes I'll see salespeople, they'll set up a meeting. I'm like, we'll get done. I'm like, why did you set up that next meeting? Like, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? You just said you're coming back at noon on Friday. What are you going back to noon on Friday for? I don't know. Why didn't you close it today? Why didn't you ask for the sale today? Oh, it just didn't feel right. Like, okay, but like, right, because you didn't know the outcome and because the buyer doesn't know the outcome, they don't know what to expect. Outcomes and expectations. There you go. So you got one thing to do from here, just one thing. Find the subscribe button and click on it. And every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. This is Scott Bell Consultant sent out a video. You should check it out, which you should. We'll see you soon. Aloha.